What is going on, guys? And today we are going to be going over how I turned $18,000 into $80,000 in less than 3 hours on one single trade. Now, we are going to be covering the exact 6-step process in this video in under 25 minutes so that you can apply it to your own trading so that you can make hundreds of thousands of dollars from trading meme coins in the next leg of the bull run. All right, let's get straight into it and not waste any time, people. So, 7 lessons you must learn if you want to make hundreds of thousands of dollars from memes. This is a screenshot where I turned $18,000 into $76,482, okay? So this is the exact same principles that you can apply to your trading today to do the exact same thing. And it doesn't matter about the coin, it matters about the process because of course the coin is a coin in the past, but there will be tons of coins in the futures that you can apply the same principles and overall framework to so you can find these same opportunities and have really, really good returns because it's not about the coin, it is about the process at the end of the day, okay? 1, do not bid meme coins over $1 billion market cap. Now, a lot of people, your favorite influencers, this is going to be contrary to popular belief, and this is why, right? So the goal of trading meme coins is to find asymmetric bets. So what are asymmetric bets? Asymmetric bets are basically where you're willing to lose 50% or 100% of all the money you put in. I'm willing to watch it go to zero so I can capitalize on something that's going to make me 10x, 50x, 100x my money, right? So I have an asymmetric return. I can make way more than I can lose. I can only lose what I put in, but I can make 100 times more than I put in, okay? So the reason that you don't buy meme coins over $1 billion is because there's not that much opportunity left, right? Not that many meme coins go to multi-billions, whereas way more coins go to from 1 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 100 million, and etc., right? So your just probabilities of making money are going to be a lot better when you buy smaller meme coins, but you do take on some additional risk, okay? So every single coin that you buy, every meme coin is going to have a 90% downside risk. So why are you going to bid a meme coin at $1 billion when the most it's probably going to get you is like a 10x, right? Now, obviously Trump, Melania, these are some exceptions to the rules, but just generally speaking, the risk to reward doesn't exactly pay, right? Like even if we zoom in here, look at Dog with Hat, right? It's at $480 million market cap. It peaked at 5 billion, right? It's gone down 90%. Brett, all your favorite influencers were telling you to bid it, peaked at 3 billion or 2 billion, 2.5 billion. Now it's sitting at 300 million, right? So it's like, okay, well, why the hell did I want to buy that? I would only want to buy that at 2 billion if it can go to 15, 20 billion because there needs to be enough asymmetric bet, right? So again, the key point here is that you only want to bid meme coins in the $1 to $30 million range because these are going to go to, hundreds of millions and maybe even billions, right? There are far more coins that go from 1 million to 10 million, 10 million to 100 million, 100 million to 500 million than there are of coins that go from 1 billion to 50 billion, right? There's barely any coins that have done that. Now, one thing to consider is that if you are using size, you need to be aware of something that's called liquidity, okay? So liquidity is basically how much is in the liquidity pool of the token. If there's a ton of volume on a coin and the market cap's super high, there's gonna be a lot of liquidity. If you look at like one of these smaller market cap coins that I hold, Billy Bets, right? There's only $318,000 of liquidity. Now, what this means is that if I'm holding $50,000 of this coin, I can't one clip sell $50,000 into a $5 million token that only has $300,000 of liquidity because it's going to nuke the entire chart. And I'm not going to be able to sell all $50,000 of my token at the current price of $5.5 million market cap because all the orders, just like in stocks, need to be filled, right? There's different prices for it to get filled, whether there's a market maker or it's just open market. So I am most likely going to have to take a huge discount on the $5.5 million market cap if I'm trying to sell $50,000 into a coin that just doesn't have a lot of liquidity. Okay, now the reason that everyone got so rich on Trump, like I did fairly well on it also, is I bought it at like $8 or $12 billion. I sold it at like 50 or something like this. But there was so much liquidity, right? There was 370, almost $400 million in liquidity. And so you could have put in $1 million and then still had enough liquidity to actually extract that out of the coin without it crashing the price. If you're using size, you need to be aware of what is known as liquidity, but general rule, I don't bid meme coins that are over $1 billion because it is kind of a waste of time. Moving on to the next point. Influencers will use influence in social media to convince you to buy their meme coins at $100 million when their average price is $5 million, okay? So often social media is used to find liquidity, which is why you take profits when a coin goes viral and is seen across all socials. So the first take profit point I look for is when it's going everywhere on Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, etc., across social media platforms. If you start to see a token everywhere, that is your first sign to start shaving profits, because you have to know who is going to be your exit liquidity in the future, right? Who is going to want to buy it from you at 10, 15, 20x the price that it is right now? And if you can't define who is going to bid 50 times higher than the current price of your token, then you can pretty much know that if I can't think about who will buy my token 10 times higher than what I currently have it at, do I really have the extra liquidity I'm going to need when this coin gets to that market cap, okay? Everyone like across social media, whether it is telling you that the coin's going to go way higher than it's going to go, right? Everyone's saying Brett's going to 15 billion, but it only went to 2 billion because they want you to have asymmetric upside so that they can get you to buy Brett at $2 billion, right? Toshi, everyone's saying Toshi to 5 billion. Toshi peaked at like 3 to 400 million, 500 million maybe. They need to tell you some good stuff so that you're going to bid their coin 100x higher than it currently is, right? And the only way you're going to do that is if there's enough asymmetric upside for you to capture that opportunity, okay? And then like Pepe to $50 billion, right? It's the same idea, right? Okay, so you want to buy before anyone cares about it and offload it when all the normies come, right? This is exactly why the cabals have done so well, because they're determining the narratives and thus they are able to control where capital flows, right? As long as you find a meme coin early, you can make a lot of money, so long as they have a good group of influencers or influencer that is pushing it, since they are effectively doing the marketing for you, right? The best marketing in crypto is the price going up, right? What happens when the price goes up? You tell your friends how much money you're making on this coin, then they get in, then they start making money, then they tell their friends, and so on and so forth, right? It's a huge affiliate marketing play, and that's how coins end up at $100 million market caps. Even look at Michael Saylor. Michael Saylor is effectively the biggest Bitcoin maxi affiliate marketer there is, right? He's the one, not that he's pushing necessarily the price up, but he's so bullish that he's talking to Saudis about it. He's talking to the US government. He's talking to all sorts of other governing bodies, convincing them they should add it to the strategic reserve, that they should obviously buy some, that everyone in the world should put 1 to 2% of their net worth into Bitcoin, right? And then there's also Murad, who basically had a whole list of tokens that he was super bullish on. And then he was just a massive affiliate marketer for all of these tokens, including SPX, Memdex, including like a whole bunch of other ones as well. Keep in mind, you're going to need influencers to push the price of the token higher, and then of the people that they bring in, they become affiliate marketers, okay? What makes a good meme, okay? So it has to be stupid, funny, cute, relatable. It needs to be narrative based, or an event that's happened in a moment in time, right? So Chill Guy, you guys probably remember the meme, super chill. Like, I'm a chill guy, right? All over TikToks. Like, my girlfriend's yelling at me, but I'm just a chill guy, right? That's a very like, I don't want to say like memeable meme, but it's a very much like everyone understands the meme because you're just, at the end of the day, a chill guy, right? And so you must be able to produce good social media content and tell good stories about the coin, right? Mooding was a great example of that. This hippo was fucking everywhere, right? And everyone was making hilarious memes on TikTok about Mooding, right? And then the same thing with Peanut. And then, we had a coin that our private group did well on, which was Hood. And right, it was the same idea that there was a narrative at the time that Hood was going to flip $1. Now it'd be bigger than the coin market cap of Robinhood, the stock, right? Toshi, this is more of a narrative play that you're going to capture all of the upside at base on the biggest meme on base, which would be Toshi, right? Pengu, same thing, right? Think about how many followers Pudgy Penguins has on TikTok, has on IG. They have millions and millions of followers on both the platforms, and they're creating memeable content as animated characters, and they're able to drive millions of dollars. And that's why Pengu at one point went to like a multi-billion-dollar market cap, right? Influencers or cabals need to get behind a coin, right? The ability to gain mass appeal and to go viral and have a good narrative is the ability to how far a coin can go, right? You need influencers to push the coin, but you also need it to have mass appeal so that other people can get behind it. Just because you have a bunch of people pushing a coin doesn't mean it's going to go to hundreds of millions of dollars. It also needs some virality, and you also need to have a strong team, an initial holder base that won't sell, right? Most projects don't go like this, okay? Most projects end up going something like this. So you need people in the team to not sell here and not sell here, right? You need them to keep pushing the price up. If you're going to have a shit team that just sells on the first 90% retracement, you're fucked. And so you need to have good holders that are not going to sell, right? And so this is a team. That's a team. Then this over here is going to be basically the VCs that invest, or the retails, or the influencers. And this is like the smart retail. And then this is like the more retarded people that just buy everything that's shilled to them on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, etc. Right? And so you don't want to be these people. You want to be over here finding your information from an alpha group like the one that I have, or another one, whatever. So then you can sell to these people, not be buying from these people, right? This is what tends to happen. My goal is to buy coins in here and then sell them to people over here. And this is what social media is used for over here, to find liquidity. Huge point, okay? Big wins will make up 80% of your wealth. Most of your coins and most of your wealth will come from 5 to 6 coins over probably 1 to 3 years that make up the majority of your gains, right? So this just means that your portfolio rarely is going to look like this, just like a nice progressive chart up. It's probably going to look something more like this, right? And until you get to a certain amount of money. And then once you hit a certain amount of money, it's probably going to be a more like standard growth, because you're going to be in safer bets. Okay. So just understand that you're not going to hit a home run every single time, that your point is to look for asymmetric bets that are going to give you asymmetric return. Now, if you have a strong conviction in a coin, don't sell 50% of it for 2x, because you need to hold winners. Okay. Now, when I say this, this is different than trenching. This is if you have a strong thesis that might take a while to play out. Obviously, if you're trenching, you need to DCA out of a coin, because you never know when it's going to nuke and go to 0. Okay. If you're going to hold a coin and not take your profits at 2x to reduce your initial investment, or like basically save yourself the initial, then you need to be really clear on your take profit strategy, right? If my thesis plays out, I'm going to sell 50% when everyone, talks about it on Twitter, when it goes viral, right? Then I need to define who my exit liquidity is going to be. Who am I going to sell this coin to in the future? And then whenever they arrive, I'm going to sell the rest of my coins. And if information changes, right, or my thesis is proven wrong, no matter the price, I'm going to sell all my coins and, fuck this coin, I was wrong, right? And move on with it. But if you don't define your exit liquidity, then you're never going to know when to sell, because you don't want to pick an arbitrary point in time. You want to define, okay, if I'm right in the future, this is the exact type of person that is going to buy my coin. We're going to find them on Instagram, on TikTok, on Twitter. They're going to be normies. They're going to like sports betting. They're going to have, disposable income. Like, who am I going to sell my bags to? Who am I going to steal money from, right? Who is going to buy my coins 50x higher from, so that I can end up being rich taking their money? Because crypto, at the end of the day, is a zero-sum game. For me to make a lot of money, somebody needs to lose money. I need to effectively take money from others, right? So if you need to define who you are going to be able to take the money from. The best marketing in crypto is for a coin to go up. Don't ever confuse this, okay? This is the best marketing. Look at Hex. Hex is like, they just got the SEC, the SEC case dropped from them, but this was one of the biggest like scams essentially in crypto, like the most dog shit coin ever. And it was run by this guy, Richard Hart. And essentially he made billions of fucking dollars because he was able to paint a narrative that you are all, that Hex is the next Bitcoin, that you want to buy Hex because he made you feel like no matter where you were buying it, it was cheap. Like no matter where you bought it, it was always going to go higher in the future. This is the same playbook. Mind you, Bitcoin is a different thing that Bitcoin uses, that Michael Saylor loses, right? If you're buying Bitcoin at anything under $1 million, you're getting a discount. So it makes you feel like no matter if we're at all-time highs or we're in the bear market, you can always buy Bitcoin and be safe. And so that's what he did with Hex, except that Hex is like a fucking dog shit token that does nothing. I don't know if he's a scammer. This is not advice. This is just, my point of view on the situation. I don't have any facts. I'm just sharing, my beliefs. Okay, cool. Now that's out of the way. So influencers want to shill tokens that are doing well because it reminds them and their followers how good of an investor they are, right? Nobody wants to talk about a coin or a play that lost them money, especially if they run a group or if they have a big social media following. You never want to remind people of the mistake that you made. You always want to, for better or for worse, push that, you've made good calls and that you know what you're doing, right? So everyone wants to talk about coins that go up, right? The more the price goes up, the more people want to talk about the coin. How many times are you going to mention a coin that has done 100x? A lot more than mentioning a coin that has basically done nothing or has gone down, right? So that's why the coins that go up tend to keep going up, because people keep talking about them, right? And so if you're a fighter, right, how many times are you going to show people that you got knocked out? Not that many. How many times are you going to show others that you knocked people out? Way more, right? You're going to show people your highlight tape. Same idea. So 5, buy meme coins on 60 to 90% dips, right? Do not FOMO into meme coins if you have missed your entry price. All good meme coins drop 70 to 90%, and there will be time for you to buy the coin again. No meme coins go straight up. A bunch of them range, come down to the VWAP, or they will crash 70 to 90%, and then you can buy them on the breakout, or you can just buy the bottom if you're willing to basically wait for your thesis to play out. Like if I'm waiting for my thesis to play out and it's going to take, a year, I don't really care if I'm buying here, like a falling knife per se. I'd rather wait for consolidation, but I also don't mind buying the breakout because I'm trying to look into the future and say that, well, I'm pretty sure this coin's going to be like somewhere over here. So if I buy it here, I buy it here, it's all right. I just don't want to buy a falling knife because, if you start to buy a falling knife, it's like, is the bottom here? Is the bottom here? Is the bottom here? Right? Like you don't really know. And so I'd preferably try and buy consolidation or like a breakout because that just tends to work a lot better. But if you have super long-term perspective and you just want to ape into the coin, then like you can buy a falling knife. It's just not preferable. Okay. So most people FOMO in after the initial hype. They see 90% drop, they sell their coins, they get capitulated because they didn't realize how much money they were going to lose. So you must understand the risks up front. Understand however much you put into a coin, you must be willing to fucking lose or don't play, right? In order to get home runs and, to make hundreds of thousands of dollars in memes, the easiest way to do this is to capitalize on the house money effect. So the house money effect is essentially when a bunch of people get rich from one event. So Hyperliquid house money effect happened. Everyone got rich from the Hyperliquid airdrop. People ended up being millionaires from literally using the Hyperliquid protocol. And then people got a bunch of free money, and then what do? They want to spend that free money. So they bought a lot of memes that were on the Hyperliquid chain. Okay. So Hyperliquid memes ended up going crazy. Solana, everyone was buying Solana, 12, 20, 50, $100, went to $300. People had made so much money from Solana, they wanted to gamble it on meme coins. So the trenches on Solana went crazy because people were throwing the excess capital around trying to gamble away their profits. Now everybody, everybody's broad, but basically everybody has a gambling problem, loves to gamble, wants to make more money. So they're going to take the money that they've made in the safe way in Solana and they're going to gamble it away. And your job as a smarter investor is to find ways to let people gamble away their money to you so you can profit from it. Okay. So you want to put yourself at the intersection of the house money effect and to capture the flow of liquidity. Okay. Now the perfect home run is you need a house money effect, you need a good story, and you need influencers to push the coin. If you have all of these, you can hit a home run play. These are main components, right? You need liquidity, you need house money effect, you need a good story, you need influencers, and you basically need a bull market. If you can get all those in one play, you have a really good chance of making a fuckload of money. When do you sell a coin? You have a thesis about what's going to happen, and it does. Okay, so your thesis is true. You have a thesis about a coin, it's proven to be wrong. You thought this coin was going to do this. The team ended up being shit. They're not doing what they said they were going to do. Okay, disproven. I try and look for a bounce, or I try and look for an exit. I leave, okay? Information has changed. You made your thesis based on information. Now this information you're finding out later has changed. So potentially the reason you came up with your initial thesis was based on information that is now not true. So you would have to change your thesis and, maybe it's disproven. This is a good point, okay? If you make life-changing money, it does not matter your thesis, you leave, okay? It comes down to that. Once you make enough money, you stop playing the game and you secure your profit. So you must know who your exit liquidity is. Again, we've already talked about this, so that you can sell to them when they come, okay? So one of the coins I hold, Billy Bets, right? Exit liquidity for me will be normal people who like sports betting and will capture the upside by using Billy Bets versus normal sports betting apps because they can just capture the bets that Billy Bets is going to take. And then knowing that they want to capture the upside through Billy Bets in the AI sports betting agent, they're just going to buy Billy Bets token because when Billy Bets wins, he buys back the token and then burns it. So like by virtue, if the bot wins, the coin will go up. Okay. So again, key components of a home run are going to be size, are going to be conviction, and are going to be time. The best way to do that is to find coins in that like 1 to 30 or $2 to $50 million range. They already have a small community that's called and the team is focused on building, right? You want to wait for a bull market where things can go absolutely crazy. That is what I'm going to look for anytime I want to hit a home run play, okay? This is going to be the final point. Everyone is in meme coins to get rich. Every meme coin will trend to zero over a long enough period of time, right? You are using meme coins to fast track your way to wealth, taking on massive risk for asymmetric returns. You are playing a zero-sum game. For someone to win, you must lose, right? Once you have found a winner and make enough money and you cash out, you leave the casino. You cannot hold memes through multi-cycles, and those who held already too long during this cycle have seen basically every single AI coin and meme coin go like this, right? So you cannot be left holding the bag. You need to make your money, get good multiples, and exit the position, right? Leaving the party too early is always better than leaving the party too late. Those people that took profits earlier are happy now, right? You're never going to sell the top. You're never going to be able to buy the bottom. You're always going to be unhappy. If you sold and the coin goes up, you're going to wish you held. If you held and the coin goes down, you're going to wish you sold. You are in a predicament that leaves you mad no matter what scenario. So you have to understand that you want to just catch, the bulk of the movement. You're probably going to miss the bottom 1/8, and you're probably not going to sell the top 1/8. But if you can just catch the bottom, or if you can just catch the meat of the trade here, then that's all you have to do. You don't care about catching the absolute bottom and then selling the absolute top. You just want to catch the meat of the trade. I'll take it from here and I'll sell it over here. And if it goes like this, then I missed this. And, I didn't catch the absolute bottom, and that's fine. It doesn't matter. You just want to catch the bulk of the trade to make your money and then go back and search for the next trade. Okay. One point that I didn't put in here is that wins compound. The path to making millions of dollars in crypto is not going to be like this. Okay. You can do something like this one cycle, right? And then you have the next cycle where maybe you take that money out and you're starting here and you're going to go like this and you're going to gradually build it up. And then, you make more connections, you find more friends, you get more alpha, you join better groups. And now you're starting here. It goes down a bit. It comes up a bit. You hit a home run play. Now in the fourth cycle, or your third cycle per se, you can just gradually try and make a little bit more money, and you can keep taking less risk every single cycle. Your first 2 cycles, you need to take the most risk because you're poor and have no money. And the only way to become not poor and sad and unhappy with crypto is to take asymmetric bets that allow you to risk but also get a lot of returns. So in your first 2 cycles, when you don't have a lot of money, you need to take a lot of risk so that you can potentially fast track your way to wealth. And then once you have a decent amount of wealth, you want to not take as many risky plays and you want to take more conservative plays, which is why most rich people just hold BTC, because they want to preserve their capital and they don't want to fuck around with any of this meme shit because they know that it trends to zero over time when they can just hold Bitcoin. And if you look at Bitcoin over 10 years, it'll probably go like that, right? And then you can add like Solana in here and then you can do some memes. And so if you do have a decent amount of money now, then you can just go BTC, excuse my writing, you can go Sol, and then that makes up like 90% of your portfolio, right? And like maybe you add in some hype at the bear markets and like maybe some render. And then you also could do like a 10% of your portfolio in memes, right? And so then that's basically how you can just structure your portfolio so that you can end up risking a bit of money to end up getting rich. And then once you are rich, to make sure that you don't end up losing your money and round tripping it by trying to get richer by using the risky strategies that made you rich, right? Like once you've gotten out of this horrible situation here, you want to make sure you don't end up back here, right? Even though you're going to make less money slower, it's better than potentially making a lot more, but also losing 90% of it. Once you've made it, save your money, put it into safe things that are not going to trend to zero. And then you can do that in like Bitcoin, Sol, Render, Hype, and then, a small percentage of meme coins. Okay. So that concludes most of this video. If you found this information useful, please drop me a comment, a like, and consider subscribing. I'm going to be uploading at least once per week. And my goal is to give you guys all the tools you need to do and to have to make hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars in crypto during the next leg of the bull market. And if you want way more in-depth trading guides, airdrop farming guides, and long-term investing strategies, then you can join the Discord. The group is going to be in the first link in the bio. Okay. Cheers. See you guys in the next one.